So this class is very auspicious now because next weekend we are celebrating the appearance of the Supreme Lord in this material earth, material planet. So that's why this chapter that we are going to take as a part of our Bhagavatam class is very important, because what's the title? The title is Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. So we know that Janmashtami Lord is going to come, right? So we would also should be in the mood that we are receiving the Lord in those prayers. So what we can do is we can take this class, we can get into the mood of the demigods in which they are paying obeisances and prayers, and the same we can replicate it when the Lord will be coming next weekend, right? So going forward, so this chapter, this is 10th canto, second chapter. This has total of 42 shlokas or a text. So what I have done is, on the basis of relevance, I have broadly classified into 4 segments. The first segment is background or the context, which is from text 1 to text 5. Then the second segment is Lord instruction to Maya Devi and his prophecies. So this is about 10 texts from text 6 to text 15. The third segment is Lord pastimes, which is 9 texts from text 16 to text for 24. And the last segment is prayers and philosophy, or you can say Garbh Stuti by demigods from text about text 18, from text 25 to 12, text 42. So we'll start with the first segment, which is the background context. So if you see the first shloka, first 1 and 2 shloka, which is over here. Just a second, let me get to the top of it. Yes. Yes. The first 2 shloka says, Sukadev Goswami said, under the protection of Magadhraj Jarasandh, the powerful Kamsa began persecuting the kings of the Yadu dynasty. In this, he had the cooperation of demons like Pralamba, Baka, Chanur, Trinavat, Aghasura, Mushtik, Arist, Dvijida, Putana, Keshi, Dhenuka, Banasur, Narkasur, and many other demonic kings on the surface of the earth. So the background over here is, there are many questions that we'll be asking. Who was Kamsa? What was the Yadu dynasty, right? So these questions we'll be discussing now. So just like we have different states, princely states, right now, states in a country. Similarly, in the other ages, in Draupad Yuga, there were different states, right? Together they were called Bharatvarsha. So in that we had Hastinapur, we had Gandhar, we have several other states. So one of the states was Mathura states, where the Yadu Vansh was, ruling that part. So they are called Yadu dynasty. There was a king. His name was Kamsa. So he was not a king. Actually, what he did, he persecuted his own king. His name was Ugrasen, and he put him inside the bars, and he declared himself a king of that state. So how he would do that? Because he was not the king. King has all the power. So this shloka 1 and 2 talks about how he is able to pull that, because he has many demonic friends on his side. And on the top of it was Jarasandh. Jarasandh was the most cruel, most condemned, and most irreligious king in the history and the Dwapar Yuga. And he was father-in-law of Kamsa. So he was in his side. So that's why he was able to do anything what he wanted in his state, and he put his father behind the bars. Right. So this was the context in this first 2 texts. Similar thing is continued with text 3. Yeah. So text 3 says, persecuted by the demonic kings, the Yadavs left their own kingdom and entered various others, like those of the Kurus, Panchals, Kaikayas, Shalvas, Vidarbhas, Nisardhas, Videhas, and Koshalas. So these are the other states, right? So when Kamsa started his atrocities, many Yadu leaders chosen to get refuge in other states because it was unbearable for them to stay there. Right. So this was it. Yeah. But also there is a context that apart from those people who choose to take refuge in other states, there were a few other Yadu leaders who decided to stay there. Why did they want to stay there? It's a very simple reason that they know that Lord is going to come because Lord has given us a vow. Whenever there is a religion happen, I will descend myself on this earth. So they know that Lord will be coming to save all of us. That's why they wanted to be closer to Kamsa, so that when the Lord comes, they will able to witness the past times of the Lord. So this was one of the reasons that few of them, like Akrura, who was a very famous leader from the Yadu dynasty, stayed there. We'll move to text 4 and 5, which says, some of the relatives, however, began to follow Kamsa principle and act in his service. After Kamsa, the son of Ugrasen, killed the 6 sons of Devaki, a plenary portion of Krishna entered her womb as the 7th child, arousing her pleasure and lamentation. That plenary portion, celebrated by great sages as Ananta, who belongs to Krishna's second quadruple expansion. So there is a little bit of context is needed. Devaki was the sister of Kamsa and he was married to Vasudev. He, before his marriage was, marriage happened, he adored his sister very much. But then something happened. So what happens? After the marriage, there was a prophecy happening from the stars. So we call it Akashvani. There, the Devtas told Kamsa that eighth child of the eighth child from the Devaki's womb will kill you, right? So when the Kamsa thought that, okay, this is going to happen, he got very frightened, right? Because he was a demonic personality. If he was a religious person, he would have thought, okay, if Lord is going to come and kill me, so that means I am liberated, right? But he knows that his actions were not as per the religious scriptures, right? So he was frightened. He thought that, okay, I'll die, right? So I don't want to die. So this is the thought of any materialistic people in this world. They thought that there is no life after death, right? So whatever I have to enjoy, I have to enjoy here. That's why they are very fearful to die because of the ignorance. So Kamsa was a similar kind of person, and that's why he killed 6 sons of Devaki one by one. He persecuted Devaki and Vasudev ji, in a cell, and there he killed one by one his six sons. Then what happened? The 7th son, who was the second expansion of Supreme Lord, so which is called Sankarshan, Balaram, Anantasesh. So he has many names. So he came to as a 7th child in the womb of Devaki. So this was from text 1 to 5 about the background of the context. Now we'll be moving to second part, which is about Lord instruction to Maya Devi. So in text 6, it starts with, to protect the Yadus, his personal devotees from Kamsa attack, the personality of Godhead, Vishwathma, the supreme soul of everyone, ordered Yog Maya as follows. So here, 2 words need to be focused on. One is Vishwathma, other is Yog Maya. So here, it says Vishwathma, the supreme soul of everyone, right? So what is a super soul? A super soul is expansion of Lord, which is residing in all of our hearts. Doesn't matter what kind of body we are in, out of 8.4 million species, Supreme Lord is present in all of them. That's why I say Vishwa Atma. If you break these words, it's like Vishwa, which is world, Atma means a soul. So he's there as a soul in every part of his creation. right? Wherever there is a soul, there is also super soul. Another point is, who is Yogamaya, right? So a Yogamaya is a spiritual potency of the Lord, which is nothing but, we know it as a Durga Devi. She is known by various other names, in our culture, right? So here, the text says that Supreme Personality of Godhead has ordered Yogamaya as follows. So what was the instructions? That is coming on to text 7. So when you come to text 7, it says, the Lord ordered Yogamaya, O my potency, you are worshipable for the entire world, and whose nature is to bestow good fortune upon all living entities. Go to Vraj, where there live many cowherd men and their wives, in that very beautiful land where many cows reside. Rohini, the wife of Vasudev, is living at the home of Nanda Maharaj. Other wives of Vasudev are also living there incognito because of fear of Kamsa. Please go there. So here, Supreme Lord is ordering uh, Yogamaya that what she has to do. So what Lord was saying is, first, Lord is describing who is Yogamaya. So Lord is saying that, oh my potency, that confirms that it is one of the energy of the Lord. Then it is said, who are worshipable for the entire world. So the Yogamaya, we all worship in some way or the other. So they are called the Shaktas, as a section of our human community who worship Durga Devi. So this is the part God Lord is referring to. And what he's saying is, you go to Vraj Bhumi, which is Vrindavan now, where Rohini. Now, who is Rohini? Rohini is second most ordered wife of Vasudev. Vasudev has many wives apart from Devaki. So Rohini comes second, and she was also staying at a Nanda Maharaj house. Now, who is Nanda Maharaj? Nanda Maharaj is the king of Vrij Bhumi, right? So he has many cows and he's the king over there. So Rohini was staying at the Nanda Maharaj place along with all other wives. So Lord ordered Yogamaya to go there. So to go there and do what? So that is explained in the next text. And here, Lord is saying, within the womb of Devaki is my partial plenary expansion, known as Shankarshan or Shesha. Without difficulty, transfer him into the womb of Rohini. So, Lord is saying that you need to transfer my plenary expansion to the womb. So there is a very important question that raises here, that if Lord is going to come here, why Sankarshan is coming before it? Lord can come directly there. What is the need of Sankarshan to come here? So here, Acharyas explains that the mood of Lord Krishna is to take service, and the mood of Anant Shesh or Shankarshan is to give service. So, from the time immemorial, when Lord has expended himself in Sankarshan, then Sankarshan was in a mood to serve. So he himself expanded as Golok Vrindavan Dham in the spiritual world. He himself established, expanded in all other things which you see over there, which we'll see over there, and which is giving pleasure to the Lord. So basically what he does is, he makes the place suitable for the Lord so that Lord takes pleasure out of that place. So that's why Anantashesh came before in the womb of Devaki so that he can make that place suitable for the Lord's appearance. So that was the reason that he came before. Moving to the next text, text number 9, the Lord continues and saying, O all auspicious Yogamaya, I shall then appear with my full 6 opulences as the son of Devaki, and you will appear as the daughter of Mother Yashoda, the queen of Nanda Maharaj. Here, you see, Lord is saying that I will appear But he also ordered Yog Maya to appear as a daughter of Mother Yashoda. Why Lord wanted to do that? Here, Acharya explains that Lord gives service to the devotees. For example, when there was the earth was burdening from the religious elements, so the demigods are very disturbed. So as Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma went to the Kshir Sagar and he was praying desperately for the Lord to go to earth and unburden the unburden the earth from the demonic elements. So Lord Brahma got the seva to request the Lord to come. Similarly, we have seen that Baldev or Sankarshan got the seva to prepare the womb for the Lord arrival. Similarly, Yog Maya has other roles to play. So this is why Lord has asked Yog Maya to go there and appear as a daughter of Mother Yashoda, who was the wife of King Nand Maharaj. Following there in the text 10, Lord is saying, by sacrifices of animal, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. In this text, what Lord is doing? Lord is describing the tattva of Yog Maya. So what he's saying is, who wants to have material desires, who will worship you? So there are two kinds of people broadly. There are people who wants to enjoy the material elements or the ingredients that Lord has given us without thinking about it, who has given it, why this has been given to me, uh, why I'm enjoying this, what is the reason, right? Who am I? So all those questions never comes to few people who just wanted to enjoy their senses and they want to fulfill their material desires. So here Lord is saying that anybody who is the type A person who wants to enjoy, only enjoy, doesn't interested in to understand the soul philosophy, right? He will worship you. And one of the ways to worship is the sacrifices of animal. Now, this sacrifices of animal is not like the one we see today, right? So it was happening in the earlier yugas where there was a real Brahmins. So Prabhupada always says that in Kali Yuga there is no Brahman, right? Because they cannot understand the Vedic text. They are so fallen. Everyone is Shudra over here. So, and if in previous ages, so there was rituals wherein the sacrifice of animals were happening. So there were two reasons to do that. First reason is they wanted to check the authenticity of the various Vedic text which is written in the Vedas and how powerful they or are they capable to do that? That was one of the reasons. Second reason was, so when the animal sacrifices happened, so that doesn't mean that out of 8.4 million species, that soul of that animal will roam around. So this soul will minimum will get a human body. So you can say a death by sacrifice by this process in that yuga by Brahmins, real Brahmins, were a boon to them, right? So Lord is saying that these are the various processes in which people who wants to worship, want to fulfill their material desires will worship you. Moving on to text 11 and 10, 11 and 12. Here, Lord is saying, Lord Krishna blessed Maya Devi by saying, in different places on the surface of the earth, people will give you different names such as Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumad, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharda, Ambika. So here Lord is telling, he is promising that you will be known by various names on this earth. So if you know that somebody who, like Lord Lord Durga is worshipped because she can fulfill the material desires. She can give you wealth, she can give you all sort of prosperity in your life. But somebody who is worshipping Chandika or the Kali has a different purpose, right? Somebody who is worshipping Vaishnavi has a different purpose. Somebody who is worshipping Sharada wants to have knowledge. Right? So for different other reasons, different forms of Maya Devis will get worshipped. That is what Lord is confirming and blessing. Blessing is a power which is Lord is given to Maya Devi. Moving on to the text 13. It says, the son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Sankarshan because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. He will be called Rama because of his ability to please all the inhabitants of Gokula, and he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength. Now here Lord is talking about, he's also doing the naming ceremony of the seventh son of Rohini, seventh son of Devaki, which is going to be going to get into the womb of Rohini. So he said that he will be called Sankarshan because he got transferred. He's saying he'll also be called as Rama. The meaning of the Rama is somebody who gives pleasure. He'll also be called a Balabhadra because of his strength. So there are many other names for this expansion of the Lord. We also know this is Balarama, Balabhadra. So there are many other names for Sankarshan is to be given. So after, when Lord instructed Maya Devi, so Yogamaya immediately agreed in text number 14. And it says, with the Vedic mantra Om, she confirmed that she would do what he asked. Thus, having accepted the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she circumambulated him and started for the place on earth known as Nand Gokula. There, she did everything just as been told. So here, whatever Lord has ordered to Yogamaya, she fulfilled. First, she affirmed that. She said, yes, I agree what you are saying. And then she circumambulated the Lord. So we know that if we go to the temple and we circumambulate the Lord, so that shows an authority that a Lord is above us, we are below. Similarly, Yogamaya, first of all, agreeing with the instructions or the orders from the Lord, and then she is circumambulating the Lord. That shows that she is also one of the energy and she works below Lord. She is not above Lord. Then the next text, in which when Yogamaya has agreed what she will do, she exactly does the same. It says, when the child of Devaki was attracted and transferred into the womb of Rohini by Yogamaya, Devaki seemed to have a miscarriage. Thus, all the inhabitants of the place loudly lamented, alas, Devaki has lost her child. So, there is another context which is not there in here, but there is a scripture called Hari Vamsha, wherein it is mentioned that it's not only Devaki has had a miscarriage, Rohini was also had a miscarriage. So when she had a miscarriage, she woke up and then Maya Devi told her that don't worry, your child is being replaced by Devaki and he will be called Shankarshan. So till here, the second segment, which is Lord instruction to Maya Devi and the prophecies, got over. And then we are moving towards the third segment, which is Lord's pastimes. So from text 16, it says, thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul of all living entities and who vanquishes all the fear of his devotee, entered the mind of Vasudeva. Now, as the text says, that Lord entered the mind of Vasudev, but we all know that Acharya says that Lord is always present in all of our heart as a super soul, right? So technically, he was always there. He just that it was not manifested for Vasudeva. Then, but when Lord decided to manifest uh, her her prowess and her existence within the mind of Vasudev, that's what it is mentioning over here, that uh, Supreme Personality of Godhead has entered the mind of Vasudev in full appearances. And then what has happened? So when the Lord enters in the mind of someone and makes his presence feels, you will show transcendental symptoms. So Vasudev was not different. He was also showing some transcendental symptoms by the Lord appearance. That is mentioned in text 17. So what does the text 17 says? Text 17 says, while carrying the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead within the court of his heart, Vasudev bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable even for such formidable men as Kamsa, and not only for the Kamsa, but for all the living entities. So the symptoms of Lord entering in the mind of Vasudev is showing as illuminating effulgence. Transcendentally, he became as bright as the sun. So we all know that when you see the sun, you cannot stare the sun for more than 30 seconds or 40 seconds, not that too directly, right? Because the sun has so much of light, so much as effulgence, right? And how does that effulgence? How that effulgence is coming from? Who is giving sun his power, his heat, his light? The Supreme Lord himself. So just think about it. If the Lord who creates the sun, if he's entered in the mind of Vasudev, how beautiful and how effulgent Lord Vasudev would be looking like, right? So we cannot even perceive that, but that has actually happened as a part of symptoms that he was showing. Yeah. Also, it is said that just a second. Yes. Okay. So after this, in the text 18, it says, thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudev to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudev, become beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all the causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Then Lord transfer himself from the body of Vasudev to the body of Devaki. So what happens? Here, the word initiated is very important. What's happening is, if Lord is taking, his Lord has taken his place in the body of Vasudev, that means Vasudev has reached to a certain level where he can be called, a self-realized soul, right? And then if he is transferring the spiritual knowledge or the spiritual uh, energy of or the Lord himself to someone else, so that will be counted as initiation. So that means Devaki got initiated by by Vasudev, and that's why she was able to carry the Lord. It is not easy because we understand in Bhagavad Gita, Lord himself says that How to know me? You need to know me via Guru. Before Guru, you cannot take me, right? So you cannot understand me. Here, we are not talking about understanding the Lord. We're talking about taking the Lord within the body. That is far, far level of knowing the Lord. So, but the process is the same. She has to get initiated. So, like this, Vasudev initiated Devaki, and then she was able to get Lord within her heart. And then she was also showing transcendental symptoms because Lord was present in his body, in her body. So, what were the symptoms? We'll see in text number 19. Text 19 says, Devaki then kept within herself the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all the causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos. But because she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa, she was like the flames of the fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. Here, the transcendental symptoms of Lord Devaki is being is being is being compared to a fire, flames of fire, which is covered by the walls of the pot. So a fire has a properties, many properties. It has a property of, has a light, it has a heat, it has ability to burn, right? So all those things will be called as fire. But when the same fire, if it is contained within a pot, right? So that doesn't serve the purpose of the fire. Similarly, a person who has the knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society is similarly like that. So we see in here, we have Bhagavad Gita, the Lord chosen Bharat Rashtra as a place where he spoke Bhagavad Gita. So we have that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which is comparable to none, right? But are we doing justice with that knowledge? Are we actually passing that knowledge to the other nations as for the benefit of entire human society, right? So it was not happening until Prabhupada came into this picture. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Prabhupada took the Bhagavad Gita and then take it to the world. So the knowledge when were distributed, then it benefit the entire society. Similarly, our Krishna conscious movement also talks about this, and that's why we have to do more and more preaching and don't just contain this knowledge of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita with ourselves. We need to talk to more people and make them understand what exactly it is so that it will benefit them and for the entire human society. Coming back to the topic, in text 20, it is said, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was within her womb, Devaki eliminated the entire atmosphere in the place where she was confined. Seeing her jubilant, pure, and smiling, Kamsa thought, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, now who is now within her, will kill me. Devaki has never been looked so brilliant and jubilant. Devaki is showing transcendental symptoms. Also, very basic symptoms, but not related to this atmosphere. For example, she was smiling. So we know that any Matajis, if they are pregnant and if they are about to uh, give a delivery for a babe, for the soul in this world, they are in heavy pain, right? They don't smile. It's not possible for a woman to smile when she is giving birth to a to a soul in this earth, right? But here is saying she was smiling, right? What was that? That was the Lord pastime. right? So Lord was showing her pastimes, and she made Mata Devaki smiling. She made her jubilant. She made her looking so brilliant, looked beautiful, right? So all these features cannot be experienced by ordinary persons unless Lord is inside your womb and he decides to play the pastimes. That was the Lord pastimes. At the same time, Kansa thought the Vishnu, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, is now within her, because he also saw that these are the symptoms which is not normal. That means Supreme Lord is here, and as per the prophecy, he will kill me. In text 21, now the couple of texts are focusing on the mental state of Kamsa. 21 says, Kamsa thought, what is my duty now? The Supreme Lord, who knows his purpose, Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinashaya Chatushritam, will not give up his prowess. Devaki is a woman, she is my sister, and moreover, she is now pregnant. If I kill her, my reputation, opulence, and duration of life will certainly be vanquished. Here, Veda says, women, children, old men, Brahman, and cow, not to be killed. Right? So this is the most heinous crime you can do. And Kamsa knows that because he was also reading scriptures. He understands the scriptures very well. He knows that if, first of all, killing a woman is a crime, then which woman? She is her sister. Not just the sister. On what, in what circumstances? She was pregnant. Where? In the jail, right? And if Kamsa killed her, so that news will destroy her reputation, right? That she has killed her sister, pregnant sister, in her custody. So that thought was disturbing Kamsa. And he was thinking about his reputation, opulences, everything will go down. Continuing to that, Kamsa was thinking, a person who is very cruel is regarded as dead even while living. For while he is living or after his death, everyone condemns him. And after the death of a person in a bodily concept of life, he is undoubtedly transferred to the hell known as Antadhama. Kamsa was a demonic personality, it is clear. But he was not stupid. He had knowledge of the Shastras. He knows that there exists heaven. He knows there exists a hell too. And what all karmas will take him to heaven and take him to hell, right? But that's why he was thinking that if if he if he will kill her sister, first of all, everybody will condemn him. And then after this, he will transfer to the hell called Antadhama. So he knows that, right? In text 23, so Dev Goswami is saying, deliberating in this way, Kamsa, although determined to continue in enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then do what was needed. Till now, Kamsa was contemplating about the options that he has, considering many factors that we have discussed so far. But in this, right now Kamsa has finalized what he has to do. He decided not to kill Devaki and wait for the baby to born. So this was his final action. Continuing in text 24, it says, while sitting on his throne or in his sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, and while eating, sleeping, or walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord Rishikesh. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavorably Krishna conscious. We all wants to become Krishna conscious, right? But then Kamsa is also Krishna conscious, as confirmed by Sukdev Goswami. What's the difference? The difference is the intention. We want to please Lord. We want to serve Lord. He wants to kill Lord. He considered Lord as his enemy. That is the difference. Apart from that, there is no difference. So the law of Lord is such that anybody who thinks about him will become Krishna consciousness for sure. But it will be favorable for him or unfavorable for him. That will be decided by his intentions of remembering him. So a devotee, a person who is unfavorably Krishna consciousness or who is not a devotee, they would want to become Lord, just as Mayavadi does. Mayavadi wants to merge with the Lord. Or they would want to enjoy the heaven. they would not follow the Lord's instruction that do not worship demigods, do not do karma, do akarma, do not get punya or papa, right? So that you'll go to heaven or hell. So they will do punya. They will ignore the Lord's instruction and they will go to heaven. They will also be interested not to please Lord, but to get those mystic powers which the yogis wants. So they will be indulging in all those mystic yogis activities to acquire some powers, right? So all these persons who has intentions of all these types, they are non-favorable to Krishna consciousness. They don't have any regards for the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Whereas a devotee, if he is at the throne, he'll be happy. If he is living under the tree, he will be happy. It doesn't matter to him. Even he will be more happy if he's living under a tree, because he understands if he is at the throne, he is continuously engaged with three modes of nature, right? Rajagun and Tamagun are present there, right? Similar thing happened with Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami was great servant at one of the great authorities in one of the princely states in his time, right? But then after getting initiated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left everything and he slept under the tree in the Vrajbhumi. So every night, the sannyasis like Rupa Goswami and several other Goswamis, they were staying in each tree for each night, and they were more happier than earlier. So that is a devotee. That is a nature of the devotee. That is a standard of a devotee, right? That doesn't mean we should follow and leave our houses and sit and sleep within the tree. So these are the great personalities. So they show us that this is a paramount epitomal standard of a devotion. But then it says, follow what they're saying. We should not copy what the great personality have done. We should listen to them, what they are saying as instructions. We should similarly, and we should not go ahead and try to copy Lord Krishna pastimes, but we should definitely follow what Lord has said to us in Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. So till here, it was about the Lord pastimes. Now we are entering into the fourth segment, which is Garbstuti, or prayers and philosophy by the demigods, in text 18. from the text 25. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narada, Devala, Vyasa, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, where they all joined in offering their respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone. So, in this material world, if me and you taking birth, not even the chief minister of the state would come and receive us. Forget about the prime minister and the other, leaders or the industrialists who are so much wealthy in this earth. But here, you see, who is coming there to welcome Lord? Lord Brahma, who has created this entire cosmos, whose body is made of only brain. Lord Shiva, who is topmost Vaishnava, he can do many humongous tasks which nobody can think of, right? Along with great sages like Narada, Ved Vyas, who has written Bhagavatam for us, and Mahabharata, and many other Vedas also is written. So all these are waiting for the Lord to come, right? That again shows the authority of the Lord. Lord is above all of them, all of the, above all of the demigods. That is the stature of the Lord. And what all they are doing? They are going there invisibly in the room of Devaki, and they are standing there, joining their hands and offering obeisances and the prayers to the Lord. Now, what are the prayers? I'll come to text 26. The demigods prayed, "O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth, and all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone for all time. You are the beginning of the truth, all truth. Therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection." If you read the first line, it says, "O Lord, you never deviate from your vow." So, which vow demigods are referencing here? Any ideas, Prabhujis and Matajis?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, the vow of killing Kamsa and all the demons from the earth, relieving Mother Earth from the burden.
Yes, yes, right. So it is, to summarize, it is a shlok from Bhagavad Gita where Lord says, "Yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata abhyudhanam dharmasya sadatmanam prajamyaham." So Lord is saying that I will come whenever there is a decline in religious principle or there is an increase in irreligious activities. I will come. I will protect my devotees and I will annihilate the non-devotees or the dynamic elements. So this is the vow that demigods are referencing here. He says, you never deviate from your vow. You will always give protection to your devotees. You'll always annihilate the demons. Right? Also, the demigods are saying, being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Now, very interestingly, if you see, it's been said that Lord Brahma is a creator, Lord Vishnu is a maintainer, and the Lord Shiva is an annihilator. But then the prayers by the demigods, which also includes supposedly the creator and the annihilator, Brahma and the Shiva, are saying that you are the supreme truth. What does it mean? It means that they are confirming that they are getting the power to create or to annihilate from the Supreme Lord. In fact, they are confirming that they are Guna Avatara of the Supreme Lord. So when the demigods confirm this, right, he validates all of this, but still people worship demigods. Then why do we worship demigods? What's the requirement? When the demigods themselves are saying that we got the power from the Lord. But then why do we worship demigods? Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
To get the material, to get needs filled.
Yes, but then demigods themselves are saying we get the power from the Lord. Why don't we all directly go to Lord then?
Yeah, but there's certain departments which are, I mean, in a layman's term, if I say, there's certain things, departments where the demigods have been given that power, like Mahamaya, Durga Mata, like
Yes,
you were saying just a few minutes back.
yes, but
So
They are
if,
messengers of the Lord who are there to fulfill his duties and protect the devotees.
yes, all are correct. But then if the source of that power, the Lord himself, so if we go to the Lord directly, will Lord not give us?
yes, he will give us what is the best for us. He will give us, but I mean, what I feel is, since childhood we have been initiated into this. Uh, this is Ram. This is Krishna. This is Durga Ma, or this is Hanumanji. So we tend to follow that as we grow up, and when we as I have come into Krishna consciousness, that is the time I have realized that if even if one worships Krishna, you are worshipping the ultimate, the Lord.
Yes, Mataji, you're right. Also, there is a great analogy given by His Grace Navdeep's Mataji in the last class, where she was explaining one of the shlokas related to this context from Bhagavad Gita, where she was saying that Lord is like our father. If and the demigods are like the shopkeepers. If we want to smoke cigarettes, we'll go to the Lord. We go to the Father and we'll say, Father, I want to smoke cigarette. Father will not give us. A good
Yes.
father will not give us. Even if we'll give him all the money, he will not give us. But
Right.
then
Yeah,
the
given-
demigods, if we'll go with the money with them, they will give us, right? So we understand that the father knows what is good for my child, but the demigods doesn't concern. It's a transactional relationship where we are giving them something, he is giving them, they are giving back to us something, what we want. That's why people want to worship demigods. They think themselves that whatever desires that they have, it's all genuine, all correct, because it's arising from their mind. It has to get fulfilled, right? Because they are within the three modes of material nature. They don't think that they are fool in some way, that they don't understand what is ultimate good. Just like a 2-year or 5-year-old kid doesn't understand what is good for them, right? But he will still cry, give me this, give me that, right? Similarly, we go and cry and ask it from the demigods without understanding that our ultimate good is not, cannot be perceived by us. It is only perceived by our Father or the Supreme Lord, right? That is, but then we want it. That's why we go to demigods. Okay, moving back to the prayers. Now we are moving to text 27. Now this text is very long, but it's very beautiful in terms of philosophical creation, where the body is being described as original tree. I will not read the entire text, but I will take the parts of it. So this body is being compared as a tree. And where does the body stays? A tree stays on the ground. So what is this ground? This ground is material nature, where we have three forces: Tamogun, Rajagun, Satogun. What are the fruits of this tree that we get? It is happiness or distress, right? What are the roots? So these three roots are the three material modes of nature. So within this land, which is material energy, Maya Devi, the roots are there, which gives us, which influences our growth in three modes of nature. So just like the root take the water from the land, similarly, these three modes of nature extracts religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which is dharma, earth, kam, or moksha, we say, as per the Vedas, right? So we extract all these things from our roots and from this material nature. Under what circumstances? So there are 6 circumstances: lamentation, illusion, old age, hunger, and thirst. So this tree is just like a tree has several weather. Sometimes he has to stand in heat, sometimes he has to stand in cold, rain, right? Similarly, our body also goes through with old age, disease, hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusions, all 3 circumstances. The bark of this tree is being compared, with skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, semen. The branches of this body or the trees are the 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. So 5 gross elements we know: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. And 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. It also has hollows. Hollows, there are 9 hollows, and we also call this 9 gates. So they have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 genitals, rectum, mouth, right? So these are 9 holes. They also says, what is the leaves of this tree? So it has 10 ears throughout the body. So there are 10 different types of air. So it was wonderfully explained in detail in one of the purport in Bhagavad Gita, initial chapters, right? You may go ahead and check there. So it says there are different kinds of air which flows within our body. So topmost of that air is pranavayu, or the life air that we breathe, right? It says, so there are 10 types of air which is compared to as the leaves of this body. But then now the tree has been described here. And this, on the branches, there are 2 birds. One is soul and one is super soul. So soul is us, super soul is Lord, who is watching us. What are we doing on this tree? What kind of fruits we are tasting, right? Under what circumstances we are, tasting these trees, tasting the fruits, right? Are we happy with taking the fruit? Are we in distress? So all those things are witnessed by Super Soul Paramatma, right? Till the time we don't turn to him and ask for, oh Lord, tell me what should I do? I'm number 1 fool in this world. Super Soul or the Lord will not interfere in our business. He'll just watch what we are doing, right? But then if we turn our face towards Super Soul and surrender to him, he will certainly give us a guidance that whatever is good for us, he will instruct us and we should follow. So this text is very beautiful. Moving towards text 28. So Demigods are continuing saying, the efficient cause of this material world manifested with its many varieties as the original tree is you, O Lord. You are the maintainer of this material world, and after annihilation, you are the one in whom everything is conserved. Those who are covered by your external energy cannot see you behind this manifestation, but theirs is not the vision of the learned devotees. So now we have seen in the last verse what is this tree is all about. And we are the one of the bird who is tasting and taking shelter of this tree. We are not thinking about where this tree came from. So the demigods are confirming that the efficient cause of this material world manifested in its many varieties as original tree is you. It is coming from the Lord only. Also, they are saying, after annihilation, you are the one in whom everything is conserved. So what does that mean, Prabhujis and Matajis? What is law demigods are referring here? You are the one in whom everything is conserved after annihilation. Any idea? Anyone?
Is it? I'm not very sure, but I'm just making a guess. Is it that that when we die, I mean, when a soul, if we are doing the right karmas, we are merged with the super soul.
Mataji's merging the super soul is a concept of Mayavadis, which never happens. They get into the effulgence of the Lord there. They stay there, but then they fall down. If you see Bhagavad Gita, if you read it in later chapters, Lord himself confirms that anybody who tries to merge with the Lord will go there, but they'll fall down eventually, right? So that is not the ultimate liberation that they will get. So that is not which is being referenced over here. Any other guess? Anyone? Okay, I'll tell. So it is referencing about Mahavishnu or Karunodakshay Vishnu. Karunodakshay Vishnu, when he breathes out, all the souls with all those material elements, all those planets, all those universes, multi-universes come out of his pores. And then when he breathes in, everything goes back to his body. So for a very small time, when you consider a small time for Mahavishnu, when he breathes in and breathes out, we get manifested. So we are also only manifested from the Lord's body in this cosmos when he breathes out. And when we breathe in, we go back. So that is an annihilation. Obviously, for the Lord, it is probably seconds. For us, it is trillion years that we cannot perceive it. It's achintya. So that's why it's saying, after annihilation, you are the one, Mahavishnu is the one, in whom everything, entire cosmos, souls, material world, universes is conserved. This is what they are referring. But those who are covered by your external energy cannot see you, that you are behind this. So they just see what is visible to them. They just see what is manifested. They don't understand prior to manifestation and post manifestation. So that is the improper vision of non-devotees. Moving to next text. Text 29. Demigods continued, they are saying, O Lord, you are always in full knowledge, and to bring all good fortune to all living entities, you appear in different incarnations, all of them transcendental to material creation. When you appear in these incarnations, you are pleasing to the pious and religious devotees, but for non-devotees, you are annihilator. So it is self-explanatory, where Lord demigods are talking about different incarnation Lord takes and for what purposes. Text 30, there, demigods are saying, O lotus eyes Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of Mahajans, great saints, sages, and devotees, by which simple process one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the hoofprint of a calf. Here, it's being said that we can cross this material nescience, the great ocean of material existence, by following the footsteps of Mahajan. So we have in this age many Mahajans, as told by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. There are many Mahajans. We have Bollywood Mahajans, we have sports Mahajans, we have political Mahajans, we have industrialist Mahajans. So they all are Mahajans in their own field. But are these Mahajans can take you go back to the Godhead? No, they cannot, because their focus is not on the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the reservoir of all existence, right? So they cannot take you there. So who can take you there? So which Mahajans demigods are talking about? So there are 12 Mahajans specifically for the Supreme Lord, who knows Supreme Lord. To name a few, we have Prahlad Maharaj, we have Bali Maharaj, Yamaraj, Bhishma Pitama, right? And there are Narada, and there are many other Mahajans who knows him, right? So what we have to do is we have to follow what the Mahajans have done in their life, and we have to read those steps and their way of life in Srimad Bhagavatam. If we read them and we follow them, then we'll focus on the lotus feet of the Lord, and then we can go back to Godhead. Moving to text 31, says, O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotees, and therefore you are known as desired tree, Vansha Kalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. It's said that to go back to Godhead, you need mercy of a guru and a Lord. If you have a mercy of a Lord, not from Guru, you cannot go back to Godhead. If you have a mercy of a Lord, Guru, not from the Lord, you cannot go back to Godhead. Actually, one of it cannot possible, right? So, if you have a mercy of a Guru, then Lord, because Lord is what you say, Bhakta Vatsal. He loves the Guru so much that whatever Guru says, he will agree. So if Guru is merciful on us, Lord will become merciful on us, right? Also, it is a duty of the acharyas or the gurus to find the means to engage devotees in devotional act. So a spiritual master has a duty to engage in the devotional service. So if you see in our Krishna conscious movements and in our ISKCON temples, we have a schedule from morning 4:30 to 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Starting with Mangala Aarti, then we do Tulsi Aarti, then we chant, then class, then we take prasad, then we go ahead and preach, we distribute Bhagavad Gita, we organize classes, we call devotees, we cook food for the lordships, we prepare for the lordship for darshanartis. So all these activities were designed in such a way by our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and few others, to engage us in the devotional service. If we are not engaging in devotional service, that means we are engaging ourselves in the material world or in the jurisdiction of Maya Devi. And that has a reaction, heavy reaction that we have to take. That's why people are suffering. So that is why the duty of Acharya is written that if we are taking a shelter of a Guru, so Guru has a responsibility to engage us in a devotional service. Moving to text 32. Someone may say that aside from devotees who always seek shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, there are those who are non-devotees, but who have accepted different processes for attaining salvation. What happens to them? In answer to this question, Lord Brahma and other demigods said, O lotus eyes Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position or imagine superiority because they have no regard for the lotus feet. So in this material world, we see that there are many who claims liberation. They are politicians who are presidents or prime minister for the country, and they feel that they are liberated because they have everything. They are industrialists who feel that liberated because they have immense wealth, they have the power, they are free, right? But then what demigods are saying that those non-devotees, and they, by the way, they work very, very hard to achieve to that place. But the demigods are saying their intelligence is impure. And why they are saying their intelligence is impure? Because they fell down, they fall down. If somebody is a president of a country, he cannot be the president of the country eternity. Somebody else will come and kick him off. Similarly, somebody who is the wealthiest person in this country will have a competition. And then, you cannot say that you will be the wealthiest person on this planet. Somebody else will come in. I'll take that, snatch this title. So they think in their mind that they're liberated, but they are not, right? Because, and they are doing so much of penances, right? But the problem is they are not taking shelter of the Lord lotus feet. Right? That is the problem. If they are taking shelter of the lotus feet, then is actually called as a liberation. Otherwise, it's illusion or Maya Devi, who make them feel that they are liberated, but then it's not. In text 33, demigods are saying, O Madhav, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord of the Goddess of the Fortune, if devotees completely and fall in love with you, sometimes fall from the path of devotion, they do not fall like non-devotees. For you still protect them. Thus, they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in devotional service. So till now, demigods were talking about the devotees, the glories of the devotees who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet. Now they are saying they also sometimes fall down. So if we read the scriptures, we'll see we have example of Bharat Maharaj, after whom this Bharat Varsha is named. He was living a very religious life, and he was till the ashram of Varnaprastha, and he was going towards a sannyas varnashram that was considered to be the perfection of the life. But then in jungle, he got attached to a deer. And then when he was dying, in his consciousness, he was thinking about the deer. So he got the next birth as a deer, right? So he fell down. Ajamil, who was also leading a religious life, but then he got into the association of a prostitute, and then he also fell down. So devotees also fell down. But then a thing to notice here is Lord always helped them. Lord helped Bharat Maharaj to have the consciousness and the memory for the last life where he was attached to deer, so that he understands the mistake that he has done. And then he can correct those and surrender to the Lord again. Ajamil, when he was at his deathbed and the Yamadutas were there, he shouted Narayan. Then the Vishnu Dut came, and then he understood that Lord has saved me. And then he lived a devotional life in a devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord always helps the devotees who falls down. It is not comparable to somebody who is non-devotee. A non-devotee, even if he fall down, he will suffer. He will think he's enjoying. Even somebody who is in a body of a hog eating stool, he's happy. Indra Maharaj has happened with him, and he was happy, right? But he was conditioned in such a way, right? So this is what this text is talking about. Also, the second part is spiritual life continued in next birth. As Lord Krishna confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, that somebody who has started service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if he fall down in his next birth, minimum he will get a human body, so that he can approach Lord, and then his spiritual life will start from the place it got hampered or stopped. So this is what demigods are talking. I would take 10-15 minutes more. Is it fine with everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. We'll move to text 34. Text 34 says, O Lord, during the time of maintenance, you manifest several incarnations, all with transcendental bodies, beyond the material modes of nature. When you appear in this way, you bestow all good fortune upon the living entities by teaching them to perform Vedic activities such as ritualistic ceremonies, mystic yoga, austerities, penances, and ultimately samadhi, aesthetic absorption in thoughts of you. Thus, you are worshipped by Vedic principles. So here, demigods are saying that not everyone would like to follow Krishna consciousness way of approaching Lord. There are varieties of souls. Some get envious with the Lord. Some consider themselves Lord. Some feel that they don't want to go to Lord. They want to enjoy in this earth and heaven, right? So not all people are same. But then Lord is so merciful that he has given us different kinds of varieties to approach him, right? Obviously, it'll take much more time than the path of Bhakti Yoga, but then Lord is giving options to all of them. For them, it's giving option to follow Karam Kanda, or religious activities in the Vedas. For them, for some, he's giving mystic yoga, austerities, penances, right? So Lord has accommodated the preferences of varieties of human beings so that they all can ultimately reach to the Lord. In text 35, demigods are saying, O Lord, causes of all causes, if your transcendental body were not beyond the modes of material nature, one could not understand the difference between matter and transcendence. Only by your presence can one understand the transcendental nature of your lordships, who are the controller of the material nature. Your transcendental nature is very difficult to understand unless one is influenced by the presence of your transcendental form. Here, demigods are saying very interesting thing. They're saying to distinguish between the matter and the spirit, a spirit has to get manifested. That's how we can differentiate. If there is spirit, but we are not experiencing it, so we end up concluding that there's no spirit, it's just the matter. That is the reason Lord comes to us. Lord's descent in this material world, time and again in different incarnations. The Lord comes in this earth and do the pastimes. Lord can lift Govardhan Hill for 7 days continuously, 7 days and nights, with a small finger of one hand, right? A material, a matter, a soul which is made of matter cannot do that, right? That shows the authority of the Lord. Not just that, Lord has taken different incarnations. He comes as Maryada Purushottam when he comes as Lord Rama to teach humanity how to lead a life. He comes as Lord Krishna himself so that to make people understand what is his authority. He is the topmost personality of Godhead, unlike others, right? So this is what demigods are talking here. In text 36, demigods are saying, O Lord, your transcendental name and the form are not ascertained by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name, form, and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. With this material eye, we cannot see the soul because it is material. We need to have a spiritual eye to see it, unless we cannot see this. Similarly, to understand the Lord, we need to have pure mind. Till the time our mind is contaminated with lust, anger, envy, attachment, right? Fear, greed. So we are contaminated, it's impure, so we cannot perceive the Lord. Similarly, a 4G SIM cannot work on a 2G phone, right? You need to have a hardware suitable for that. Similarly, they're saying devotional service is the way. Mental speculation is not the way. You will meet people who talk about, oh, I think God is that, God is this. Some says God has created this earth and then he was tired and he died. Some says God is there, but he is least interested in all of us. He is staying there happily. He doesn't care about this. That's why we have this war and this all kind of heinous crimes happen on this earth, right? So people have a lot of theory, which is not at all, way to reach God. So this will make their illusion more complex and they will not reach God. How to reach God? How to reach Krishna? They are saying only devotional service is the way, right? So Arjun cannot see the Vishwarupa or universal form of God with his material eyes. He needs to have a devotional service, also surrender to the Lord with the spiritual eyes. Then he was able to see that. So this is what the slok is talking about. We move to slok 37, text 37, where they're saying, even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at a lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Here, it's a very interesting purport. It says, how Bhakti Yoga can be practiced is explained in this verse. Srila Rupa Goswami has said that anyone who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord by his activities, his mind, and his words may stay in any condition of life, yet is no longer actually conditioned, but is liberated. Even though such a devotee is in a material body, he has nothing to do with the body, for he is transcendentally situated. The next shlokas says, O Lord, we are fortunate because the heavy burden of the demons upon this earth is immediately removed by your appearance. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate, for we shall be able to see upon this earth and in the heavenly planets the marks of lotus, conch shell, club, disc that adorn your lotus feet. Here, demigods are very happy. They are considering themselves fortunate because they know that the demons will be killed. Sometimes Lord will come as Lord Ram, sometimes he will come as Lord Narasimha, sometimes he will come as Varaha, and now Lord is coming directly. That's what they are saying. Earth is immediately removed. The demons are removed from your appearance. The other part is saying that the Lord has 4 marks on his lotus feet. It has lotus, conch shell, club, and disc. That is only visible to the person who is surrendered to the Lord. So, Akrur, who was a leader of Yadu dynasty, who was staying with the Kamsa, as we learned about it in the context, he was also able to see the marks of the ground when he was taking Krishna Balram to Mathura from Brajbhumi. Gopis, who are the topmost devotees of the Lord, are also always in thought of the Lord Lotus feet and these symbols. And these marks are also on the heavenly planets whenever Lord goes there. So they are considering themselves so much fortunate. In next shloka text, they're saying, O Supreme Lord, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this material world as the result of fruitive activities. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world has no other cause than your pleasure potency. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you have no cause for miseries like birth, death, and old age, except when these living entities are conducted by your external energy. It is said here, Lord is not appearing as a result of fruitive activities. That says Lord is outside karma. He is not bound by karma. We are bound by karma. We take birth because of our actions and the reactions we'll face in the different births because of our fruitive activities that we do on this material world. But Lord appearances is not because of that. It's transcendental. It is Lord wish and by his pleasure potency. Also, it says that we, as a part and parcel of Supreme Lord, we are also unaffected by the birth, death, and old age and disease, till the time we are not associating with this material energy of the Lord. But when we are associated with the material energy, that's why we have rebirth again and again and again and again. Continuing in text 40, they're saying, O Supreme Controller, your Lordship previously accepted incarnations as a fish, horse, tortoise, Narasimhadeva, boar, swan, Lord Ramchandra, Parshuram, and among the demigods, Vamana Dev, to protect the entire world by your mercy. Now please protect us again by your mercy by diminishing the disturbances in this world. O Krishna, best of the Yadus, we respectfully offer our obeisances unto you. So demigods are concluding their prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but saying that, Lord, in the past you have incarnated in not only in human form. So there are many missionaries in other religions. They say that, oh, your Lord is always comes within a Brahman or the Kshatriya post, because your Lord doesn't want to go into the lower species or in the Shudras. But they are in ignorance. They don't understand that the Lord has already taken birth as a boar, as a fish, as a horse, as a tortoise, as a Narsimha, right? So all those incarnations are in the lower species, which is called Bhogyonis, right? Which is not a human form, right? So they are under illusion and they conclude that, but that's not true. So there we are left with last two shlokas. Text 41 says, okay, so after they have concluded their prayers to the Lord and giving obeisances to the Lord, now they are talking to Mother Devaki. They are saying, O Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, with all his plenary portions, such as Baladev, is now within your womb. Therefore, you do not need fear Kamsa, who has decided to be killed by the Lord. Your eternal son, Krishna, will be protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Here, demigods are assuring Mata Devaki that Supreme Personality of Godhead is within your womb. This is not ordinary soul, and he is coming here for the purpose. He will kill the Kamsa, although Kamsa has confined you in a cell right now, but after when he'll come out of your womb, in coming days, he will kill Kamsa. So do not need to worry, right? Here, Mata Devaki was feeling an emotion of worrisome, right? So this emotion of worrisome cannot be concluded as a normal worry which me and you as a parent or the mother feel for our child in this world. As mentioned earlier, she is initiated by Vasudev, who is on a transcendental platform by the Lord. And then when the Lord entered the womb, she was also, elevated to the spiritual platform. So this worrisome, this emotion for his child, even though the demigods are confirming that this is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, you don't need to fear. Still, a mother on the spiritual platform like Devaki is worried about the child, just like Mother Yashoda was worrying about Krishna when Krishna jumped in the river to kill whom? Any idea, Prabhuji's Mataji's?
Kali.
Sorry? Can't hear Mataji.
Kali.
Kalia.
Kalia.
Yes. Thank you. So in the last text, demigods, it says, after this offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the transcendence all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them, return to their home in heavenly planets. So after praying to the Lord Krishna and offering the Garb Stuti, all the demigods went back to their respective places. This marks the end of this chapter, which is titled Prayers by the Demigods for the Lord Krishna in the Womb. So this chapter is very auspicious for us to get in the mood of the prayer for the Lord. So when we are in the temple and the eve of Janmashtami, when the Lord is about to come, right? So we can take inspiration from these prayers from the demigods and then do a stuti by ourselves for the pleasure of our Lordship. With this, we'll end our session for today. Any questions, Prabhujis and Matajis?